Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. A little bit late in getting the start today. Sorry about that. I had a few things to do here, and I wasn't quite right on time. So thanks for holding in there and, waiting around for me. I do so much appreciate that. And just wanted to kind of get into the slides here. Basically what's happening is the indexes are moving lower. They've actually moved lower today, but we're still in a confirmed uptrend. Interesting thing here is that some of the EV stocks have pulled higher, and I want to kind of talk about those a little bit. There's mainly one I really want to talk about, and that's NIO. It's just on fire today, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, possible buy points. I think it's probably going to go higher. Tesla has not been, it's been kind of basing and hasn't really been moving higher, but it seems like the excitement has moved to NIO. So I want to go over that a little bit today on the show and give you kind of some ideas, and then, go from there. Been doing some redesign on the watch list. I'm going to be putting some nice stuff on there, but I'm going to redesign that with a little bit more information. And, we might possibly have an app available with us soon. Another kind of interesting news coming out here. We have a podcast, and it's available on Apple iTunes. So if you just, want to just listen to it, Dallas Trading Floor kind of, and don't need to take a look at everything. That's available too. And, just go over to Apple Podcasts, just put in Dallas Trading Floor, and hopefully it'll pull right up. We're also on going to be on Google Podcasts as well. So that's pretty exciting for me anyways. And, we'll be coming out with that. It's just started, and we'll be coming out with that more of that later. So let's get to the idea of looking at the market, kind of the market direction. The market's off today. It's the NASDAQ is 11,696.24 when this was taken. This was just taken a few minutes ago. So pretty, we're right about the close right now of the market today, but we're definitely off, but we're still in a confirmed uptrend. As you can kind of see, it's pulled down and then pulled up, and it's pulled down a little bit. It's still above the 50-day moving average, which is good. Hopefully we won't slip back into another downtrend, but currently we are still in a confirmed uptrend. So what does that mean? Well, that means that it's a good time. You want to kind of be looking for things to possibly move into from the cash position that you might have. But I think you got to be very careful, because the market has been kind of, it's still trying to get its footing after this election. We don't, apparently there's going to be some more scrutiny on this election, so we really don't know, with absolute certainty the results here. But it looks like Biden is going to win, but we can't tell because there's a number of court challenges. So just keep that in mind. It's a very important thing, because that affects a lot of the stocks. So even though we possibly would like to go in and look at some other stuff, this is probably kind of be a little bit cautious, just based on these court challenges. Just wanted to kind of show you the action on the S&P 500. The S&P 500 has pulled back a little bit. It's currently at 351.72. Now, why is that important? Well, if we were to pull above that 360 level, and that's kind of, if you can see this on this chart, I don't know, for those listening on the podcast, you can't see this obviously, but there is a little dotted line at about 358.75, or basically about 360. This is the line in which the S&P 500 is going to make a new high. Now, what I'm talking about here is not the actual S&P itself. I'm talking about the SPDR, which is the world's largest ETF, which covers the S&P 500. So we did initially pull above that 360 level, and now we've pulled back below that. So we're kind of in a trending range. We may go down. Basically, we may be in a range from about 320 on up to about 360. If we move anything below about 320 on the SPDR, then I think we're going to be obviously in a downtrend once again. But right now, we pulled above the 360 line, and we've pulled back today. So it is looking kind of mixed. That's really the only way you can can say that. It's really kind of looking mixed on that. Now, the next, of course, important one, and that for everybody that is a growth stock investor, and of course, I am primarily a growth stock investor, and that is the Invesco QQQ Trust, and covers the Nasdaq 100. The reason this is important is because this is typically where all of the growth stocks are. So we did have a cup and handle formation on the QQQ, but it pulled down and then it's pulled up, kind of tested the about 279 level, pulled back from that, and currently we're definitely below that. The key level on the QQQ, I believe, is right about 275, and we're above that. So we're still in a upward trending motion, but it's not very powerful, not like we've been seeing it before. So be very careful. There has been a rotation out of some of the there's been a rotation out of some of the of the Qs of the Qs. So there's been a rotation from the growth to possibly some of the more value stocks. Very important stock is going to be is going to be announcing tonight, and that's of course Disney. Symbol on that is DIS. So if I can get there, we go. Hopefully, I'm going to have a little bit of bandwidth issues here. Hopefully, we'll get that solved here in just a second. And let's take a look at some of the questions. My, oh, there we go. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Sorry about that, everyone. I had some issues with the sound and with it, but I think you're good with Neo. Let me just take a quick look. I'm going to bring up the chart for Neo. Thanks for holding in there with me. Do appreciate it. I did have some technical issues with the bandwidth, and basically we're going to be looking at Neo tomorrow for earnings. It's pulling up very, very strongly. Of course, it's up $5. I personally am going to be waiting on this. I'm getting my order ready for Neo, by the way. I wanted to kind of indicate that I'm getting my order ready for Neo, and let's just kind of look kind of the things. We're at 8 of 9 on the checklist, so that's really excellent when when it comes to that. We're also, in terms of the ownership, we're moving up there too. So I mean, I do think it may pull back a little bit. Right now it's at 48. Here's the thing: I would, it may continue up from this. I do expect a pullback on Neo right after earnings. So I do expect it to open tomorrow. I do expect that it's going to open a little bit lower tomorrow, but I do think once that happens, we've got a green light. I mean, it's 99 on the relative strength, so we're looking extremely strong. And I'm probably going to be putting out an action trade alert on this as well. Thoughts on SWAV? Let's take a look at SWAV. SWAV. All right. Thank you very much for holding on. That's Shockwave Medical. Just a terrific chart. It's up $1.67 today with a 97 relative strength, and we just have looked like we've come through earnings. Now let's kind of see. I want to look at a few little things about this Shockwave Medical. First of all, let's see how it looks. It's got 80% fund ownership. I love that. I love the fact that we have increasing sales, up 73%, and we are not in earnings. So this is very, very, very strong. Now, where could you buy this thing? Well, looking at this chart, it looks like we've gapped up to a trend line, and it looks like it's the 21-day line. So let's take a look back on the daily chart to see if there is a buy point of sorts. If you buy it now, you're going to buy it a little bit extended, but this is a powerful chart. So, we've really essentially gapped up with a lot of buying. Right now, the trend on this, it looks like it's trending on the 10-day line. So let's look at that 10-day. Yeah, it's right up that 10-day line. Here's the thing. If you're going to buy it on the 10-day line, the best way to do it right now would be to try to buy it at about 86. About 86 on the 10-day line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that out there. This is on the 10-day line. And the buy point on SWAV is equal to approximately, with my calculations here, on the 10-day line, we're looking at basically, you could buy this right about 79.74, I believe, which means that it's fairly extended. 79.74. So here's what I would do with this one, and this is not going to be that easy. What you need to do, Matt, and this is a very good question. What you're going to need to do, Matt, is to kind of wait a little bit to see if it pulls back at all. I mean, this is looking very strong, but let's see if it pulls back. I think it may pull back to about the $79, $80 range. If it does, then I think you're in a buy, because this is a short term. It looks like it's moving right up that 10-day line. So something is going on here. Definitely has the trend. This is a good one. And in terms of, let's kind of look at the criteria. It's got an excellent checklist, 7 out of 9. That's excellent. The fund ownership is also increasing, so that's very good. So where would you buy this thing? Well, if you bought it now, you're buying it a little bit extended, and there's a potential that it will pull back, relatively significantly. So you will want to be a little bit careful. Let's see if you can get a little bit of a pullback to the 10-day line, and you could conceivably buy this at about 79.74. So that is a very, very good question. And thanks, Marcin. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry about my technical difficulties here. Been having some issues with, I've been having some issues with the playback on this. So sorry about that. Hopefully we'll do better. Thoughts on BA and TA? Let's look at BA first. That's, of course, Boeing. Did you know, and this is a very interesting thing, and this is one thing I kind of want to bring out here. Boeing, I think for the first time in its history, didn't sell one plane last month. So I know that it's moved up and everyone's excited with it, but I still don't like this trend. We have a downward, we have a downtrend here. I mean, that's just, there's no other way you can get around it. We have a downtrend. Even though we're up a little bit, we pulled back to the 200-day line and we're now below the 200-day line. I cannot recommend Boeing at this point. I just can't. Now, as a short maybe, but not as a long. I just can't recommend it. The checklist on this one is not very good. It's only 44%, or basically 4 out of 9. So that doesn't look very good. Unfortunately, we also have falling fund ownership. Let me tell you what's going to happen, I believe, with Boeing. When nobody's looking, in the middle of the night, some of the funds are going to start selling this. And the reason is because they have trapped equity here, and it doesn't look like it's going to get better, at least not for the foreseeable future. If Biden is indeed the president, we are going to be under much more lockdown. I don't know if you heard that in New York City they're going to lock down again. So that's going to be very bad for the travel economy. There's just not going to be much of one. So I think you just have to be very careful in buying Boeing. So I think that Boeing is probably not where you want to be. So let's look at TA and see if we can get Travelers. Okay, well, yeah, Travelers is a different story. Travelers has lots and lots of assets, and they probably won't have to pay off nearly as much as they normally would. Let's look at the weekly chart. Let's see if we can find. Okay. So we have a buy point. It's way back here. It's a cup. It's a 1A buy point. A cup 29.25. It's at 29.93. So yeah, this is you could definitely. It's got a relative strength of 98. So that's looking pretty decent. We do have increasing institutional ownership. Well, that's decreasing a little bit. Checklist is good. For a good, solid financial play, this one's actually looking fairly good. We had a lot of people move back into the stock, basically in the September timeframe. So let's look at the monthly chart. Just want to look at the monthly. Yeah, okay, we definitely have a trend, and a Travelers is definitely more of a long-term kind of play on the. It's definitely more of a long-term play. So, could I see getting back into this one? Yeah, I think so, because if you can see, we're above this. It looks like we have moved. The trend has changed. I'm looking at the monthly chart here, and yeah, I definitely think that this one would be very good. This is an excellent diversification. I wouldn't go with more than probably. I wouldn't go with probably. I'd go with about a half position on this. But I think with a half position, you'd be doing pretty well. You'd be doing pretty good on this chart. So definitely TA, not BA. In a long story short. So thank you for that very, very much, Christian. What does live say in 60 minutes? I apologize. This is Jim. I usually come about 3:30, and I'm so sorry. I had some technical difficulties here, Christian. Thanks for waiting it out. I appreciate that very much. I apologize for that. Oh, I hate it when the stuff doesn't work. Let's look at RUN, RUN. Interesting. Thank you, Christian, for hanging out. I appreciate it. I had a bandwidth issue. We had a router issue. It seems like we're always having these technical issues, so it wasn't that good. Let's look at RUN, and this one. This stock basically is in a downward trend. It does have a 98 relative strength. I want to see it. I want to see it reverse here. I think there is some issues with this, there is a, I think there is an issue with with this sell-off here. It does look like we're pulling back. It's 53. Could I buy this one? You know what? I wouldn't probably be. The trend just isn't. I want to wait until the trend reverses on this. I want to see if it can reverse. It's fallen below the 40-day. It's on the 21-day. I mean, it's still pretty solid, but I can't recommend this one. I would wait on this one. The trend just isn't your friend on this one. So run. You could watch list it, but I wouldn't be going into it now. I don't think it's the right moment for it currently. I just think it's it's not the right moment for it. SunPower, on the other hand, I think that's a pretty good chart. Let's take a look and see. We definitely have a nice trend. Let's look at the weekly trend, because that's really how, that's really going to find the trend. Yeah, definitely beautiful. Not much better, much better trend here. As you can see, we have a nice trend, and it hasn't been broken yet. 99 relative strength. This looks like, to me, everything's looking good. It's got a 66 checklist, which is my minimum, but it's still in there. Increasing fund ownership, correct. Correct direction. Let's look at some other things. 65% funds, I like that. It was down a little bit. It's come through earnings. It was down a little bit. There's a sell-off, but it's again continued to move up. So this is a very classic, by the way, everybody. This is very classic in terms of the way this traded. It moved up into earnings, and then after it's pulled back. This one, you may be ready to buy this one as soon as maybe Monday, but SWPR, that looks pretty good. So I have to say that's a good chart, and I think that you have a potential winner there. And by the way, just quickly, just kind of wanted to show you, I am a CanSlim trader, and so that's kind of how I trade it now. And if you want to learn how to trade it in this way, there's two really good books that you could possibly look at, and that's this one here, How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System, Good Times or Bad, and also How to Make Money in Stocks, Getting Started by Matthew Gilgani. These are kind of two companion books, and many of the top traders in the world, as a matter of fact, most of the top traders in the world in the last 20 years have been CanSlim traders, and it basically all comes from this book, William O'Neill, and it's available on Dallas Trading Floor. So www.Dallas Trading Floor, just a shameless plug for my little site there. If you do buy it off it does help me defer some of the expenses and maybe buy some better equipment so that I won't cut out and won't come on at the right time. So if you do decide that you want to learn more about CanSlim trading, that's the way to do it. Go over to my website, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then possibly look at looking at one of those books. Okay, thanks, Barry. I did come on, so I'm not totally delinquent when it comes to that. Let's take another quick question from TikTok. I asked about BABA. Let's look at BABA really quickly. BABA has been, a lot of these large Chinese stocks have been sort of under a lot of pressure from the Chinese government, and they have been selling off, but JD looks good. Here's the thing about BABA. I want to show you the chart on BABA, and I think this is one is very kind of instructive here on this chart. It's pulled back. It's at 264.31. It's down $35 today. It closed down $35 lower, and the reason this is significant is because with Alibaba and some of the other stocks, there's increased scrutiny by the Chinese government. And remember, with the Chinese, they don't use the same accounting principles as we do here in the West. They don't follow them. So it's a little bit more speculative based on those stocks. But that said, I think that if you're looking for a Chinese company that is solid, I think the one you want to look at is JD.com, and that's pulled higher. So that's one I want to kind of highlight here. Instead of going for BABA, I think JD.com is going to be better for you. It is moved into the buy zone. There is a buy point on it, so it has come through earnings. And well, I'm sorry, it has not come through earnings. Earnings are in 4 days, so be a little bit careful about that. Buying something into earnings. You know, I do recommend possibly, if you do buy it now, I would sell it on the day before earnings, because I do think this will trend up towards earnings. But JD, the buy point on JD is equal to 85.39. So there we go. So that's the buy point on that, and it's, you know, it's a good buy point. I mean, it's a cup with handle buy point, you know, and a second stage. So that's a very strong buy point for JD. Now there is one caveat on JD, and I think you have to be very careful about this. Is JD is going to be coming into earnings in 4 days. So it's if you don't have a position now, wait, put this on the watch list. Wait until earnings. I suspect we'll pull back a little bit, and then I think we'll be moving higher. But JD, not BABA, is the one I think you want to go for. So that's kind of the thing on that. So let's see if I can go a little bit further down. Okay, there we go. Maybe, yeah, I'm having some tech issues. I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks for holding on. So we have to delete our comments every time. But no, the comments are still good. So okay, okay. Can you say anything about Nikola? Well, let's look at Nikola. You know, let's see. In Nikola, let's see what that is exactly. Let's take a look at Nikola really quick. All right, in KLA is the symbol for that. So let's put that up in KLA for Nikola. There we go. Yeah, I'm afraid this is a terrible chart. I wanted to see. Now, if you can see this, I'm actually on the TikTok. I'm showing Neo in the background, but on the live on YouTube, it is Nikola. And unfortunately, this is a very, very bad chart. As you can see, we have a downward trend on this. There. Okay, let's see if we can. There we go. Yeah, that's the downward trend. And you know, I think that, you know, this is just one of those. This is just one of those things. I mean, we have a downward trend. We have a relative strength of 63. This thing is selling off, and even though they did have a deal with General Motors, it just doesn't look good. The checklist is not good. It's 44%. If you're in this thing, I think it's a good time. You know, I think, you know, time to sell was when it went down for when it went down before. But right now, if you're in this thing, please, you know, do yourself a favor. Please, you know, please exit it, because it's not working. Let's look at TTEC. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you very, very much. We have a nice, yeah, this is a nice looking chart. Thank you for this. We have a nice upward trending, you know, we have a nice upward trending chart here. So this is definitely what we want to see. Let's look at the weekly first to see if we can find a buy point. And it's an outsourcing company. So let's see. We have, it's going right, there we go. So that's very good. We do have a buy point. That's an excellent thing. So let's go back to the daily to see kind of where that buy point is. That's a cup, second stage cup at 60.60. So we're right below, we're right on the buy point. Very interesting. So TTEC buy point is equal to 60.60. And it's got an 88 relative strength. That's good. Anything above 80 is going to be good. We have a 100% checklist on this. Excellent. The ownership looks good too. So I would say this one is, you know, and have we come through earnings? Yes, and we had great earnings. This is, you know, I would say TTEC Holdings is good to go. I like that. I definitely like that one a lot. Thank you very, very much for that, Wendy. I appreciate it. That is a good chart, and I think it's definitely a viable chart. And the fact that it's got a 100% checklist and It's come through earnings. Wow, that's very, very good. All right, let's look at COWN. Let's do that right now. Thanks for holding on. COWN. There we go. All right, that's Cohen, and that's an interstitial brokerage. By the way, this is an investment bank, very successful one too. By the way, when I was in Silicon Valley, I dealt a little bit with this company. It's a good bank. It's got a nice trend line. We're looking at a very nice trend line. There was a consolidation base at $19, so that's looking pretty good. Let's look at the funds. We've got increasing funds, a little bit decrease in there. We've got a 100% checklist. Wow, 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 wow. So Cohen. Oh boy, I'm going to put this one down in my little list because this is a very, very fine chart. You're excellent in finding these, Wendy. This is a great chart. I do really like this chart. So I would say, and we've gone through earnings. We had tremendously good earnings. I would say this is a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. COWN, and I'm going to put the buy point out there on the chat for everybody. COWN, or let's see, COWN, and the buy point on this one is equal to, let's get a good buy point for everybody out there, is $19, and it's a consolidation base. So that is looking very good. So I very much like that, and I think yeah, this is $19. So put that out there on the chat. There we go. So there you go for that. Thank you very, very much. COWN, very, very good one, Wendy. Excellent. MVEE. So let's look at MVEE. MVEE. See if we can get anything in there. Oh, not recognized. Huh. Well, I apologize. NVEE. There we go. All right. NV5 Global. It's in Hollywood, Florida. It is interesting stock. Don't like the trend on it, though. Let me show you that. I just, kind of giving it the smell test. I'm not exactly familiar with this one, and I'm not in this one, but we do have a little bit of a downward slope. Not bad. Not bad with that, but definitely on that. Yeah, see, we do have a bit of a down slope. Yeah, there we go. So we're sloping a little bit down, but it is pulled above the 200-day, the 50-day, and it is right on the 21-day. So it seems to be gaining strength. It's up strongly today, $8.25. Let's look at the daily chart to see why this is. Very interesting. Okay, so this is very, yeah, we had very good earnings here. There was a gap up, very nice, very nice. Yeah, and we have we're going to have a new buy point here. Yeah, we have definitely a new buy point right about 70. So this is a breakout, folks. Yeah, this is a breakout. NV5 Global. Interesting. So I'm going to put, breakout. NVEE, and and the buy point breakout is equal to basically 69.48. There we go, 69.48. So this is a breakout. Everyone. Very, very interesting. I like this one. Let's take a look at the criteria to see. Yeah, 8 out of 9. Very good. The funds they're decreasing a little bit, but it's still very strong. Let's go over the weekly chart. I want to look at and this is an important thing. I always look to see this, yeah, we had some very nice sales increases here. Very good. We do have a little bit of decreasing funds, but it's still quite good. Fund ownership is 37%, which is quite good. We do have excellent cash flow. So yeah, NVEE. This is definitely good, a good stock. So thank you very much for putting that out there. That is tremendous. I so appreciate it. Hey Jim, why we don't put Put all in on NEO. Good question. Never put all in on anything. It's just a lot can happen. Here's the one of the reasons we don't want to put all in on NEO. Now NEO is moving up very well. It's a great stock. But here's the thing. We want to wait through earnings. And the reason we want to wait through earnings is because even the very, very best stocks, what they'll do is they'll move up, and then when earnings happen, a lot of times they'll pull back. There's a lot of hype on this stock right now. Not that that's bad, but there's a potential that it will pull back. So my advice on NEO is to wait through earnings to see if it pulls back. If it pulls back, and let's pull up the NEO chart, because I didn't have the correct chart up there, but let me pull up the NEO chart and show you that. So if it pulls back and then it reverses, boy, I think we're going to have a winner on our hands, because it seems as if the momentum in the electrical vehicle space, for at least for right now, has moved essentially away from Tesla a little bit to companies like NEO, and NEO is sort of the best of the breed. Now there's another one called BYD, Build Your Dreams, which is very strong too. But let's look at the daily chart on this. Remember, we're very, very close to earnings. We're in earnings and basically in 4 days, and we've pulled up. We have a very, very, very steep ascent on this, as you can see, very steep. What happens when you get these kind of ascents is it will have a pullback. I suspect we're going to pull back to right about here. We're going to pull back to about 42. So I would consider buying NEO at about 43 on after earnings. And earnings for NEO are going to be on the 17th. So on 11/17/2020. Now, why would I consider, the reason I consider buying it after after it pulls back, after earnings, is because typically it will pull back, and then I think it's going higher, based on this chart, based on the charts I'm seeing. So that's a great question. That's a great question on NEO. Let's see if I can find another from TikTok. Thanks for looking at me. And I apologize, I had so much technical difficulty today. Man, I tell you, I need an engineer. I need an engineer. You'd think I could, I did, I studied math in school, but I'm not a great engineer. I'm kind of, I'm not that great at it. Okay, let's look at, how about BABA? I talked a little bit about BABA before, and you weren't, because you got fed up with my technical difficulties, but here we go. Let's take a look at Alibaba. Here's the problem with Alibaba right now. Alibaba is in the crosshairs of the Chinese government. Jack Ma in particular, he's going to have to divest some of his positions. So I do think that we're going to see a pullback on Alibaba. I just do. I just do. And as you can see on the daily chart, wow, it's not looking that good, unfortunately. At least for not for right now. Going down, kind of going in the downward direction there on that trend. Why am I so, you think, Guy, why am I so much on this trend? Well, the trend is your friend. We want to kind of jump on the train, go a few stops down, and then we want to jump off and make all the profit. So that's the whole idea behind CanSlim trading. We kind of look to see how stocks are moving, jump on the train, go a few stops down, and then when it kind of starts reversing, we jump off the train and hopefully take our cash with us. So that's how CanSlim, that's sort of the analogy for CanSlim trading. But with BABA, I think you're going to be really a little bit there's going to be a problem there. So I wouldn't recommend BABA. If you're looking for a stock though, and you want to go in and you want to be in the Chinese space, the one to go for, I think, right now is JD.com, because this chart's a whole lot better looking than the BABA chart. And I just want to show you that we have an upward trend, as you can see on this relative strength. We sort of have an upward trend. There we go. Yeah, see, we have this upward trend on this relative strength. Now, what am I talking about here? Well, this thing, it says RS rating 95. Well, that is moving up, so that's good. We want to buy when that happens, when that kind of thing happens. We have a pivot at 89.35. It's just above the pivot, and it's pulled back, but it's in the buy zone. So right now, JD.com it is in the buy zone, and the buy point equals, let's give it 85.39. So just put that out there for everybody on the chat. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok and you want to see what I'm doing over here, you could jump over to over to YouTube at youtube.com/SellsTradingFloor, and you can see all the chat and all of the the buy points and everything like that. So that's a good way to kind of get an idea here as well. Is the audio not working as well? Goodness gracious. I hope it is. Let's see if I'm getting some audio here as well. I've been having. Oh, I have a question. I have a call. Let me take the call right now. Dallas Trading Floor, you're on the air.
Hello. Can't you?
Well, I had a junk call there. So everything that's pretty much can go wrong has gone wrong today. It's really bad. Oh well. Thanks for hanging in there. I appreciate it. Okay, Jim, I think NIO's a pump and dump stock. You know what? It very well might be. That's a very good question. That's a very, very good comment. I do appreciate that. That's why we want to wait until we've come through earnings. Earnings will tell. If it's a pump and dumper, it's going to collapse on earnings. Okay, that's why you don't want to hold them into earnings. Earnings is sort of the event that sort of shakes out. It's the truth-telling event, and that's the reason why I typically will buy a stock, hold it into earnings, and then I'll sell it. For instance, I sold I sold Palantir today, and I sold some of my positions in Cloudflare as well, because that's how they typically work. So let's take a look at Palantir just for fun, PLTR, and that's having earnings today. Yeah, it's pulled back because I sold it at 15. It's now at 14. So that's interesting. It almost always works this way, folks. Here we go. We held it into earnings. Boom, it went up, and then boom, it went down. Okay, this is sort of how I like to trade these kind of stocks, these bottle rocket type stocks, as I like to do it that way. And I'll just show you on the small portfolio kind of where that comes out here. So I did just sell it today. There we go. Okay, there we go. And hopefully you can see this as well. And I'll show this on the chart. Bring that right up. There we go. Okay, as you can see, today I sold Cloudflare and I sold Palantir, and I was fortunate. I was able to sell for $15. It's now $14.50, but we haven't even seen the earnings. Typically, this is what will happen. This is a good way. Run it into earnings and then sell it, and then buy it on the other side. So that can be sometimes a very good way to go. Okay, here's another one of the automobile stocks. Thanks, Carolyn Tambler. Appreciate it very much. This is LI Auto. This is also a Chinese company. And the thing about the Chinese company, you have to be a little bit more careful with them because they do not follow generally accepted accounting principles. And sometimes their numbers aren't quite right. That's happened with Luckin Coffee. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but that was a fraud as well. So I'm not saying that this one's a fraud. We're looking very good on the numbers, but I think you want to go with NIO as opposed to this one. But let's look at this one. We're now at $31.78, up $6.81, and we had a major buy. We had a major buy here. This little Easter egg says that it's at an all-time high. So let's look at the criteria on it to see if it's good. It's got a relatively good checklist, 7 out of 9. Actually, it's very good. And it does have some fund sponsorship, 75 funds are in it. But I think the one that is better is NIO. And that one, the reason I do like NIO a little bit better is because this one has an agreement to sell cars in the EU, and it has also been rated by J.P. Morgan Investment gave a buy on this one. So this one I think is better. It's better than LI. I would recommend going with NEO over LI, and that's just really good. Pot PDD for 98.45 today. Let's look at PDD in here. PDD. Oh yeah, Pintaho. Yeah, look at that, unfriggin' believable. You did a super duper job. It is up $22.75 or $3.74. Now, I was looking at this one this morning and going over it. Just this one has just gone crazy. You're absolutely right. Now, I do expect this one may pull back a little bit, but it's looking good on a lot of its criteria. 97 is the relative strength on this one. It's got a checklist, basically 8 out of 9, and this one is a good, is sort of a, this one, I would recommend this over Tencent, and I do think it's this is a good one. So unbelievable, fantastic. Thanks for commenting there. All right, well, thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out here with me with all my technical problems. Volkswagen. Okay, let's look at VW, Gunnar. Well, hopefully you're looking from Germany. My girlfriend's German, so I definitely love Germany. Volkswagen. And this is the company that really probably will be the biggest competitor to Tesla out there, I believe. Volkswagen has the capability. One of the things about Volkswagen is that they have the ability, not just the design capability, but the ability to absolutely dominate in the EV space, just because they have the production capability and everything else. So VWAGY, let's see if I can bring that up on the U.S. exchange. That's going to be ADR. VWAGY. Let's see if I get. Yeah, there we go. Volkswagen AG. Thank you very much, Gunnar, for waiting. Appreciate it. And let's take a look at their chart. It is currently trading at 1837. It's down about 20 cents. Let's look at let's kind of compare it. Checklist is it's not as good as I'd like to see it. 5 out of 9. The ownership on it, it's okay. It's got about 7 funds in it. The reason it's choppy like this is because this is an ADR. As you can see, there's an ADR there. And let's look at kind of the general trend. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not particularly good either. We do have a bit of a downward slope on the trend line. So, and it is pulled up there, but it is definitely a downward sloping trend with a 56. Let's, for fun, I want to see what GM, because interestingly enough, GM is on my watch list right now. And you wouldn't think of them as being good in the EV space, but they did come out with the EV1, so they may be a potential. So I want to compare them a little bit. It's a little bit smaller company than Volkswagen. Volkswagen, of course, is the second largest vehicle manufacturing company in the world after Toyota. I do like the trend a little bit better on GM right now, at least right now, because it is an upward trend. And in the, so I do like to see that it's pulled above the 200-day moving average. That's very important, and it has a relative strength that I want to show you. This is the relative strength of 89, so that's important there. We did go through earnings. They definitely moved back a little bit, but right now in the U.S. market, there's a lot of demand for what, believe it or not, what GM has. So this is the one I would recommend over Volkswagen at this point. But Volkswagen is still a very good company. It's just I don't think it's investable as GM in the auto space. Tesla, I think you have to wait a little bit until we have based out. We may be back for Tesla, but right now, I think we have to be very careful and look. Be very careful. of the ones that are looking, that are looking good, I think, I think that basically we're going to be better served by looking at NIO possibly, and GM actually than Volkswagen in the autos. Okay, any thoughts on Square? Let's take a look at Square. Square's been pretty awesome. And it's in the payment space, which I like. It's pulled back a little bit, but it's still got an excellent chart. So let's look at this chart for again, we have this beautiful, we have this beautiful, yeah, beautiful if I can get it to work. There we go. Yeah, we have this beautiful trend line, as you can see. I very much like that, even though we've pulled back here. We've pulled back to the 21 day to the 40 day, so that's good. But we have this excellent trend. It's got a relative strength of 97, so that's good. We have some, we do have some good volume going on, but most importantly, we have this earnings, and the earnings were excellent for Square. So what would I do with Square going forward? Let's look. It's got a 100% checklist. I like that. Let's look at the ownership. 1461 funds are in it, and the Fidelity Contra Fund. So this has definitely got the good SASE seal of approval. There's one little thing that I want to point out that is not as bullish, and that is this relative strength line. It's pushed down a little bit, but it's still very high. So can we buy this? Is there a place to buy this? Is there a place to buy this? Well, I think there is, and that would be right here at the basically at the 40-day moving average. So let's see if we can go to the daily chart to see if there is a actual place that we can go. See how it pulled down and then it bounced and then it comes back up. So I do believe that we could buy it probably at the 21-day or at the 40, but I think the 21-day is probably going to be our best bet, and that's going to be right about right about 168, I believe. It's going to be about 168. So I would say, for Square, the buy point would be equal to about 176 off of the 21-day line. So that's where I would be buying Square, and I do think it's buyable. By the way, I do think it's absolutely buyable. So good. All right, is NIO a good buy? Well, it is a good buy. NIO is a good buy if we come through earnings. Earnings are in a few days. Don't buy NIO today. Today is Thursday, the 12th of November. So with NIO, we want to wait just a few days in order to buy it. The earnings for NIO are coming out on the 17th, okay? So today is the 12th, so basically next week is when we want to think about buying NIO. So, but I do think it's a buy. I just don't think you want to buy it into earnings. That's my only thing. But thank you very, very much for that question. Well, I thank you so very, very much. Let's see if I can get 2 or 3 more questions in there. Thank you so much for holding on with me through my technical difficulties. So, I really appreciate your patience with me. Okay, Kenny, this is probably going to be the last one. Can you check DHT oil tanker? They answer a 20 cents dividend. DHT. Okay, well, let's look at DHT and see if I can find out anything for you about that. I appreciate the question. DHT. All right, so let's look here. DHT Holdings. And let's look at the chart. Okay, let's look at the chart. And a lot of the oils, because there has been a disinvestment out of the sector, out of the oil sector, we have seen a lot of we've seen a lot of movement out of the oils, so they're having to pay higher dividends. So the dividends can be very good. So it's got good cash flow, $1.27. That's excellent considering it's a $5 stock. Wow. Relative strength is only 20 though, which is kind of low. So I can't really recommend that. It's not really a good growth stock. It fails on most if you're buying it solely for, if you're going to buy it solely for the dividend, I would do that. But I cannot recommend this stock, unfortunately, Kenny. I'm so sorry. I don't think this is, I don't think this is a winner, unfortunately. Not long term. Now, what you might want to do with a stock like this that has a high dividend like this, and this is what I recommend for a lot of people, and this is sort of how to play some of the oils, and I want to come out more with this. It's called dividend capture. Basically, what you want to do is you want to buy this stock on the day of record, and I have to go look at this. You then want to buy it the day before the day of record. You want to hold it on the day of record, and then the next day you want to sell it, and that way you'll capture those dividends. So that's really the only way I could play this stock. I just really don't think it's that investable, to be honest. But the dividend is very attractive. So thank you for holding on for that. Let's look at Solo, S-O-L-O. And thank you for watching, S-O-L-O. Alrighty. Interesting. This is essentially a penny stock. And let's kind of look at it. We've got a 98 relative strength, which is excellent. And what do we got? We do have some funds on it. We have a checklist. I wouldn't buy this one. This is possibly this is another Chinese vehicle company. I would recommend instead of Solo, I think NIO is going to be a better bet at $4. I mean, it's moved up tremendously. You might be able to make some money there, but I think you might be a little bit more careful with a stock like this because I think it is a little bit challenged. Let's look at O. Let's see if we've got what I can tell you about that really quickly to see if that makes any sense at all. Okay, so it's O is the symbol, and that is Realty Income Corporation. You know what? I don't like the stock. I don't like O at all. I have to say, I don't like it. I don't like the realty space. I don't like anything to do with realty right now, based on the fact that we have an economy that is not going to be very kind to commercial property owners in the near future. So, cannot recommend this one. This is not a stock you want to buy. It has a downward trend, which is definitely an issue. There we go. There's the downward trend. It's got a rating of 25, not good. It does move up a little bit today. I cannot recommend. Oh, I'm sorry about not the thing to recommend. Well, thank you so very much for dealing with my glitches. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully without this network issue. I did have a little bit of a network glitch today. If you want to listen to this, if you want to listen to my new podcast, it's available on iPhones. It's available on iTunes. Dallas Trading Floor is the name of the podcast, and I would, very much, it's over there, and all of this will be archived on there. And also, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And if you want to sign up for the action trade alerts, and I do these from time to time, depending if there's actionable trades, such as Palantir and Cloudflare and several of the other ones. I do this typically, on the day before it opens. In order to do that, you got to go over to the website, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and sign up for the action trade alerts. Until tomorrow, I will be back on, hopefully, at the same time, at the correct time, 2:30 Central, hopefully without technical difficulties. Thank you so much for watching, and happy trading.